ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It was April 1989 when I first started smoking cigarettes. I knew they were expensive. I knew they were bad for me. I didn't much like the smell, and I was pretty sure I would hate the taste. But then I saw those glimmery, shiny packets in the Newsagent stand, speaking to me, whispering, "Mark, smoke us, Mark, smoke us." 25 years later, and I'm still on a packet a day. This is actually how the health nutjobs believe people make the choice to take up smoking. It is utterly risible, it is utterly ridiculous. And then look at our government, so-called Conservative-led government. Look at the issues that are facing our country and the world at the moment. A budget deficit this year of nearly £100 billion. Incidentally, the bill to the taxpayer if the tobacco companies successfully litigate for the removal of their intellectual property could be £11 billion additional expense to the taxpayer. Still a fairly modest economic recovery. We don't know whether it's sustainable or not. International instability in the Eurozone, in Ukraine, further afield in Syria. With this sort of backdrop, what kind of final act would you expect this government to take? Yep, that's right. The final act of this Parliament before the general election, with that background of problems, is probably going to be to regulate the colour schemes that British adults are allowed to look at. That is a pretty feeble grasp of priorities. If standardised packaging, plain packaging, does become law, I'm sure that the more inventive of us will find ways around it. In fact, I already have. This is a Southampton Football Club cigarette case. Other teams are available. If you don't have the good taste to support Southampton Football Club, other teams are available. I have to tell you that when I forget to put my cigarettes in this case, my 9-year-old nephew is completely unmoved by the Marlboro packet with the gold trimming on it. But this he loves. "Uncle Mark, what's in this? Can I play with your Southampton cigarettes, please, Uncle Mark?" This is the sort of things that 9-year-olds and 43-year-olds who haven't grown up really, really love. We will find ways around it. The health lobby, as has been said, isn't about healthcare anymore. I think you might have been able to make a case back in the 1950s or the 1960s that people didn't know the risks attached to smoking cigarettes and that there was a need for a public information campaign to inform them. But in the same way that Madsen Peary asked you, can you name anyone who has actually gone from vaping to smoking combustible tobacco? Can you name anyone who doesn't know that smoking has health risks? That battle has been won, but the campaigners have not gone away. They are persecuting a campaign, not just against the tobacco industry, a controversial industry, but against smokers themselves. This is an attack on a lifestyle freedom, and it needs to be called out as such and resisted permanently. I don't know if some of you have seen this circular at the retail Newsagent magazine, the front cover being circulated around. The headline is "MPs silenced on plain packs debate," that there's actually a suggestion there won't even be a vote on the floor of the House of Commons. Not only are those pushing this through not listening to the public consultation, they are potentially not even listening to their parliamentarians. Rather amusing, next to the photo on the front cover, I don't know if you can see it, is of the monster-raving Looney Party members Lord Bungle and Lord Toby cutting the ribbon at a revamped Whiteley's Newsagent in St Ives this week. And I have to say the two of them look rather more statesman-like, sane and mainstream than most of our politicians. There's a general election coming up, and it's not for me to tell you how to vote, of course. It's not for the Institute of Economic Affairs to tell you how to vote. But I think it is important that we hold our government and our politicians to account. So keep fighting for freedom every single day, every inch of the way. And I'll leave you with John F. Kennedy's key, insightful proverb. Always forgive your enemies, but never forget their faces. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.